And we can now kick off. I call Zumaridi Toastmasters Meeting 129 to order. And I'll start with the meeting protocols. Our Sergeant at Arms, take it away.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to meeting number 129, Zumaridi Toastmasters Club. My name is Sophia Wangoi, and I'll be serving as your Sergeant at Arms. For I would like to run through a few quick ground rules to ensure our virtual meeting runs smoothly and respectfully for everyone. The virtual ground rules include 1. Recording notice. Please note that today's session is being recorded for archiving and sharing purposes. By remaining in the meeting, you consent to being recorded. If you prefer not to appear on video, you are welcome to turn off your camera. Naming protocol number 2. For all talk takers, name yourself as your role _ your name. For visiting Toastmasters, you name yourself, your name _ your club. For a guest, you name yourself, name _ guest. You can name yourself by clicking the 3 dots on your video tile or through the participants list. On the issue of microphones and audio, please stay muted when you are not speaking to minimize background noise. When called upon, unmute yourself and remember to mute again when finished. Camera protocol. We encourage you to keep your camera turned on to foster a connected environment, but feel free to turn video off if you experience bandwidth issues. When it comes to the use of the chat, use the chat box for constructive questions, resource sharing, or technical support. In case you drop off, rejoin using the original link. Back to you, President.
Let's appreciate our Sergeant at Arms. Let me see your emojis. Fireworks. As usual, Mondays, we start the week with Zumaridi. And I appreciate and welcome all our guests visiting Toastmasters. And I will give a chance in a few for you to tell us how you expect and what you expect in the meeting tonight. I'm also glad that we are having 2 icebreakers this evening. New members who are starting their journey to growth. Toastmasters is a worldwide organization where we provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in a greater self-confidence and personal growth. To Zumaridi members, let me see by a show of hands those who are able to see the minutes of the last meeting. And we can be able to have someone to propose. I can confirm I saw the minutes. I even proposed some changes. Someone to propose?
I propose.
Very good. Who seconds?
Second.
Very good. So Toastmaster Sophie proposes, then Mr. President, our TMOD today, seconds. Let me see. Let me see whether we have some guests. Caroline, confirm whether you are visiting Toastmasters or a guest. Caroline McKenna.
Good evening.
Good evening. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm
Are
sorry,
you
I
a
have a
guest?
cold, so my voice is a bit hoarse.
It's okay.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure what a guest or a
Are
visitor
you
is.
a member? Are you a member of Toastmasters?
Yes,
Very good.
yes.
From which club?
This is my first meeting with Zumaridi or with any other club.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
Enjoy the meeting. We'll be able to get your feedback at the end of the meeting. Do we have any other guests? Let's follow naming protocol so that we are able to pick guests. I would like to give one visiting Toastmaster, Leah Minja. Say hi to us and tell us where you are visiting us from. Is it Tanzania? Is it Kenya? Is it Uganda? Toastmaster Leah. Oh, yes, I thought so. Toastmaster Leah is coming from Dar. Are you able to say hi to us, Leah?
Thank you very much, Presiding Officer Eric Wanjohi. It's a pleasure for me to join Zumaridi Toastmasters meeting. I look forward to an insightful session. Over to you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome. Toastmasters is turning 1 or 2 years in October. In a few weeks, Zumaridi is turning 6. We were founded in 2020 November, and we are part of one of the 13,845 clubs worldwide. It's a network that currently has 548,000 members. You can see as a guest what you subscribe to when you join Toastmasters. Today we have 4 speeches lined up. 2 are icebreakers. For the sake of our guest, an icebreaker means the very first time a new member makes it to the stage and delivers a speech. I'll be able to request our members at the end of the meeting be left behind so that we do club business. For now, I want to introduce the TMOD, who happens to be the club president. That's why I'm holding fort as the presiding officer, because our president is a TMOD. TMOD means Toastmaster of the Day, or is it TMOE, Toastmaster of the Evening? Now, the Toastmaster of the Evening is the current president and our immediate past SAA. And I would like us to appreciate our president, because I joined this club as a transfer from Mombasa Island Toastmasters Club. And I found that Toastmaster Evans Odima was very vocal and very keen in the last Toastmasters program year, 2025, 2026. He was the SAA. Sometimes he was actually wearing many hats. You find him acting as the SAA, as the PR manager, sometimes as the VP, and sometimes as a presiding officer. So I would like us to appreciate Toastmaster Ivan for the year ended 2025-2026 for a job well done. I want to see those emojis. I want to see those emojis, those messages on charts as we appreciate our current president for a job well done in transitioning the club to the current EXCO. And on that note, I would just like to have just one member of EXCO who is having an announcement, even if it means just welcoming members. PR manager, Toastmaster Nancy.
Good evening, presiding
Yeah.
officer of the day and VPE
evening.
Eric Wanjohi.
Good evening.
Thank you for this very early table topic session. Thank you very much, honorable fellow Toastmasters and guests. We're delighted this evening to have you join us, and we're looking forward to an amazing, stellar, and scintillating meeting. So please stay here, learn, relearn, and let us grow together. Back to you, Mr. Presiding Officer of the Day.
Before you leave the stage, I would like you to help me introduce the TMOD by giving us 3 things you know about him. 3 things that we don't know about Toastmaster Evans Odima. Back to you, Nancy.
Thank you, Mr. VPE. So 3 things about Mr. Evans Odima that you do not know about him. Number 1, I sit next to him in the office. Number 2, he is a very reliable colleague. He is diligent in what he does, and excellence is one of his core values. Back to you.
Indeed, I can confirm that. And I want to take the meeting over to you, PMOD. Let me see those fireworks emojis. You can unmute and shout and scream. The only person who can scream here is Sophie. Sophie, can you scream? Over to you, TMOD.
Yes, I can.
Let's hear the scream, Sophie.
Electricity.
I've done it.
Wow. That was a good, I am humbled. What an introduction. Thank you, Mr. VP. Thank you, Madam VP PR. That was amazing. I am humbled. And in Toastmasters, we say that, what do? We wear many hats. So the last year, I wore many hats at Zumaridi. And all that was to ensure that our club continue running. And I'm glad I managed to convince VP Eric Wanjohi to join us, even as we continue to elevate Zumaridi to the next level. I'm excited to be here with you. I hope you're excited as I am. And the theme tonight, a tiger does not announce its tigritude, it simply pounces. A tiger does not announce its tigritude, it simply pounces. So in a world where noise is often mistaken for strength, where words are used to signal power, there exists a different kind of force, quiet yet composed, certain. The tiger does not declare its presence. It does not seek validation. It does not make announcement. What does it do? It simply acts. I don't know if most of you have watched Nat Geo or these wild animals videos or documentaries. If you're keen, if you look at the tiger, most of the time, it's not involved in a lot of action. But when it does, It is very ruthless. So tonight's meeting invites us to reflect on a powerful truth. Strength is not in what we say. Confidence is not in what we display. Greatness is not in what we promise, but it is in what we do. When the moment comes, because in the end, the world does not remember what we said we will do. It remembers what we did. This quote, a tiger does not announce its tigritude, it simply pounces. This quote is attributed to Wole Soyinka. He is a Nigerian playwright, a poet, a novelist, and a political activist. He became the first African to win the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1986. He was born in Abeokuta, Nigeria in 1934. But here's a really interesting part. This famous line wasn't originally just a generic motivational quote about action speaking louder than words. Soyinka used the tiger metaphor during the African literature debate around Tigritude in the early 1960s. He was challenging the idea that African identity had to be loudly proclaimed in literature. His argument was essential that the quality and power of the work should demonstrate African identity rather than merely announcing it. Soyinka later clarified the exact wording as, a tiger does not proclaim its tigritude, it pounces. He explained the metaphor by saying that you don't need the tiger to stand in the forest shouting, I am tiger. You know what it is. You know what it is from what it does. So the tiger does not go on top of the mountain and shouts, do you know who I am? No, that is not how the tiger acts. It waits for its opportune moment. The tiger is always vigilant, and it acts when the opportunity arises. Tonight, I'm not asking you to tell us you are a great speaker. I'm not asking you to tell us you're confident. I'm not asking you to tell us you're courageous. I want you to pounce. Tonight, I introduce a little vocabulary in tonight's meeting. The vocabulary is tigritude. Tigritude is not actually an English word, you know. It sounds like one, but it is something that we're introducing tonight. So I'll ask you, who knows what tigritude means? Actually, Soyinka invented the word, or at least popularized it. The playful term in this context represents the essence or nature of the tiger. You don't announce it, you demonstrate it. So tonight, I want to see less raw and more pounces. I would like to now introduce my tiger team. I hope my tiger team, you're ready. First of all, I'd like to introduce the timer, Ruth Ogango. Ruth Ogango, I'm welcoming you to the stage to actually tell us more about your role. But before you tell us about your role, I am posing a question to you. Can you respond to this question even as you tell us more about your role? So Ruth Ogang, what is the biggest decision you've ever made without overthinking it? What is the biggest decision you've ever made without overthinking it? Over to you, Ruth. Is our timer with us? Kindly unmute. We see you muted.
Sorry for that. Greetings, TMOD, fellow Toastmasters and guests. To your question, the biggest decision that I've ever made without giving it much of a thought, that answer could draw back to my recent speech, my icebreaker speech. One of the greatest decisions that I've made in the recent past, which was a decision to join the great Zumaridi Toastmasters Club. So I think in simple terms, my answer to that question is the greatest decision that I've ever made without giving it much of a thought is joining the Toastmasters Club. And to my role this evening as a timer, my role this evening is simply to ensure that our speakers are time vigilant. As a timer, I will time the table topic speeches, the formal or rather the prepared speeches, and the evaluations. I will alert each speaker of the time they have left using the green, the yellow, and the red backgrounds. Starting with the table topic speakers, you should note that you have up to 2 minutes to deliver your speeches. So at minute 1, I will change my background to green as so. I apologize for, due to bandwidth issues, my background changes look a bit funny. And I apologize for that. So at minute 1, I will change my background to green. At 1.5 minutes, I will change my background to yellow as so. And at the 2nd minute, I will change my background to red. For the prepared speeches, the icebreaker speakers should take note that they have between 4 to 6 minutes to deliver their speeches. So at minute 4, my background again will change to green. At minute 5, my background will change to yellow. And at minute 6, my background will change to red. For the other prepared speeches, the speakers will have between 5 to 7 minutes to deliver their speeches. So at minute 5, I will change my background to green. At minute 6, I will change my background to yellow. And at the 7th minute, my background will change to red. For the evaluators, take note that you have up between 2 to 3 minutes to deliver your evaluations. So at minute 2, I will change my background to green. At minute 2.5, my background will change to yellow. And at minute 3, my background will change to red. I will thereafter give my report when called upon. Thank you, and back to you, Mr. TMOD.
Thank you, Timer, for pouncing, not just Rod. That is a well-explained role, even to our guest. Next, I'll be going to a second member of my Tiger team, the R counter. Jordanos Kilfiesus. I hope I haven't butchered your name. So Jordanos, as you'll be introducing your role, I'd also like you to respond to this question. Tell us about a time life threw you a surprise and you had to pounce. Tell us about a time life threw you a surprise and you had to pounce. The stage is yours, Jordanos.
Good evening, TMOD, fellow Toastmasters, guests. The time that surprised me was my first time when I gave birth, my first child birth. Before that, I was thinking giving birth was very easy and very simple. But when I married and my doctor checked me and you are pregnant, I really crying because I think my being a motherhood is very challengeable and will have also many responsibilities. And after that, also I think when I go to hospital, I was surprised when doctors come and check me and see me. Oh, you are gonna to be a mother, so you have to push when you to deliver your baby. You have to push. You have to do that. You have to do this. During that time, I get very worried. So that time was my first time. Still now, I didn't feel like that moment. So that time was very surprised and very strange for me. Thank you. Back to you, Tiamadi.
Tigress Jordanos, kindly now introduce your role. Tell us more about your role this evening.
When I come to my role,
yes,
today
tell us about your role. Yes.
Yeah. Can I continue?
Proceed.
Yeah. As a counter, the purpose of a counter is just counting or checking words that may be repeated or like pause filter by anyone who speak today. As we have 4 speakers, I will see this all and listen carefully and put the notes. So during the meeting, I will listen for overused words, including and, well, but, so, and, I will also listen for filler sounds, including and others. So I will also note when a speaker repeats a word or phrases such as I, or this means. At the end of the meeting also, I will report the number of times that each speaker used these expressions. So thank you, and back to you, Temodi.
Thank you, Tigress Jordanos. Thank you for that succinct explanation of the role and a well-put response to the question. Next, I'll be going to Tiger Grammarian Daniel Opuch. Grammarian Daniel Opuch, before I introduce, or as you'll be introducing the role, I'll ask you to also respond to this question. What's one opportunity you didn't take and still regret? What's one opportunity you didn't take and still regret? The floor is yours, Tiger Daniel Opuch.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the evening. The one opportunity I regret not taking was to stay away from football. My life on the side of hobbies has been revolving around watching 11 men ruin my mental health for 9 years consistently. I honestly think as much as I regret not stopping, it gives me some sufficient joy. Now, on my role tonight as the grammarian, I am tasked with 2 simple to-dos. And one of them is to track the usage of the King's language, that is English. I'll pay attention to good quotes, some idioms, new vocabulary. I've already taken note of some, and also where we err a bit. And I'll provide a bit of guidance later. But also the second half of my role entails sharing the word of the day. Why do we share the word of the day? We often share different words at different meetings to enable members learn new words and improve on their English proficiency. And on the occasion tonight, our word of the evening is vigilant. Vigilant means, like a tiger, you keep careful watch, you stay alert and ready to act when the right opportunity shows up. We have 2 examples of how we can use this word of the day, and one of them is a good investor stays vigilant, watching market shifts instead of reacting only after prices crash. The other example is a vigilant evaluator catches the small details a speaker might miss about their own delivery or speech. And now, ladies and gentlemen, kindly unmute and we say the word of the day together. Right,
Vigilant.
our word of the day is
Vigilant.
very well done. Now I encourage all of you to weave this in as you deliver your speeches. And once a speaker uses the word of the day, you react with an emoji. I'll come back later to share my report. Over to you, Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you for that. Tiger grammarian Daniel Puch. Puch has talked of 11 men whom we were allowed to affect our mental health. I think I also fall in the same category. We also introduced the word of the day, which is very relevant to the theme of the evening, vigilant. And as we've said, tigers do not announce their tigritude. They remain vigilant and wait for the right opportunity to pounce. The GEO General Evaluator has asked to introduce a role that's in the meeting. I'll be introducing the other member of my Tiger team, Tiger Table Topics Master Davis Anunda. Davis Anunda kindly respond to this question as you introduce your role. If you had to completely change your career tomorrow, what will you pounce on? If you had to completely change your career tomorrow, what will you pounce on?
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. If I had to change my career tomorrow, what would I pounce on? I think as somebody who adores computers and love what they can actually do through coding, software development, and now with the invention of AI, I think I would switch careers from what I studied, which is microbiology, which requires me to be staying in the lab the whole day, to switch to something which is AI related, which we know is the future right now. to my role tonight. Tonight I'll be your table topics or topics master. And my purpose is simple. I will facilitate table topics where guests and members will have an opportunity to practice their impromptu speaking. So I will introduce a topic or a question, then call upon random members and random guests who will have between 1 to 2 minutes to respond to that question or on that subject. So when the time comes, we will proceed with that. And this session will require a lot of vigilance from all the speakers that I will call upon. Thank you, Toastmaster of the day, and back to you.
Thank you, Tiger Davis Anunda. Be asking guests, especially to pounce on the opportunity to take part in the table topic session that will be happening later in the meeting. A tiger does not announce what it is capable of, and neither will our speakers. They are going to demonstrate it. Ladies and gentlemen, watch the pounce. So I'll be calling upon our evaluators to introduce their speakers. I'll be starting with Tigress Sharon Bonabana. Tigress Sharon Bonabana, as you introduce your speaker, tell us about a time you acted instead of talking. Tell us about a time you acted instead of talking. The floor is
Thank you,
yours.
Tim. Thank you, Tim Modi. I was about to pounce before you finish the question. My name is Sharon Bonavana. A time I acted instead of speaking was a time I had to send an invoice to a customer. So what had happened is that I had a contract and there were milestones I was supposed to bill the customer. But then, as the practice, we have to always ask our customer to check whether they are able to make payments within the designated number of days, say maybe 30 days or 60 days. So the practice was usually ask the customer, they ready for the invoice? When will they be able to make before we make the invoice? Because sometimes these invoices carry risks like tax. If you invoice it and the customer is not able to pay, there is the risk of capital loss. There is a risk of overdue collection, bad debts. So we always have to ask through emails, communicating. So this one time, I did not go through that process. It was at the end of the month, so I simply went in and sent an invoice to the customer, but gladly, the customer paid within that designated time. So yes, that time I was a tigress. Okay, so for my speaker, my fellow tigress, she's called Natasha. She's presenting her speech, level 1, presentation mastery, and she's doing project 1. About Natasha, she's a mother. She enjoys gardening. She enjoys planting flowers, traveling, sightseeing, and she enjoys cooking. This is going to be her first speech. And what I'm going to be evaluating will be her time management. And I'll also be looking at the structure of the speech, ensuring that you have the body Sorry, you have the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. Then the next that I'll be evaluating will be the message clarity. So I'm going to be very vigilant to make sure that I evaluate and assess these two particular elements in your speech, Natasha. The title of the speech is My Name, My Identity. My name, my identity, Natasha.
Thank you. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Today I will be giving my icebreaker speech titled My Name, My Identity. The name given to me by my folks is Natasha Morugi. Natasha means God's gift of happiness. Morugi, which translates to chef or cook. I do enjoy cooking for loved ones and often will come up with recipes in my head with so much anticipation of the final meal, which can be a hit or a miss. I am a second born, or in loose terms, the middle child. I have 2 siblings born to the same parents. As is customary with many middle children, I will be rightly termed as the disturbance or hard-headed of the family. I have no objection whatsoever to that. However, I will differ with the second name my dad gave me. It is the bone of contention in this argument, not because I cannot identify with it, but because the trajectory could not be further from the name itself. I somehow missed out on the vocal part of public speaking or speaking in general. I always found myself mincing my words or preferred to communicate with facial expressions rather than words. This, I hope, can be resolved by being vigilant to the speaking exercises and roles lined up before I can get done with level 5. The name given to my brother and my younger sister is Moredi, translating to shepherd or leader, and Nkada, translating to a hard worker. Ironically, a jumbo mambo of the orders gave life to the current sequence, whereby my sister is a chef. I often find myself organizing, guiding, and leading the family, and my brother is quite literally a hard worker. The art of cooking has always come naturally to me, maybe stemming from the name or from the position born into the family, and how the transition into teenage and adulthood made it obvious that I had to ensure that dinner during the weekdays and meals during the weekends were part of my responsibilities. That begs the question, names. Should the names give us identity, or should we be masters of our own and rebrand, rename as we deem fit in the journey of finding purpose? Feel free to share your sentiments. Now, a journey back in lineage has it that my grandfather, in his own finite wisdom, named all his kids in a rather peculiar manner. The names in no order are Kiora, which interprets to frog, Njoka, which interprets to snake, Dhara, which interprets to napier grass, Njogu, which interprets to elephant, Ndwega interprets to giraffe. Well, you get the gist. Now, imagine 21 kids with that lineup. The teachers must have been really laughing. I know I still do. My dad, rest his soul, was Njue, the blessed one, or the buffalo, or the drinker. An array of names, and only one came close to defining him, the blessed one. I could change my clothes, move to another city, or enter a room full of strangers. But when I introduce myself, there it is again. My father's name arrived before the conversation had begun. Now, through this journey as we experience it, we come across people from all walks of life. However, the names always stick with you. But most importantly, is how we relate to them, how we share the space with them, how their memories impact you, and how you carry at heart the moments together. Back in Dreka village, where most of my patriarchy resides, the village drunk Mobea, which interprets to priests, indeed leads towards the local pubs. His priestly skills, however, are a culmination of unwise decisions, bad hangovers, deep regrets, an empty hand, and reek of alcohol that could accompany the propane gas to its fire. Should we tell his parents of the disservice they did to the priesthood, or rather, should we remind him that his journey was to altar in service of God? Now, how many of you have ever had your name mispronounced or found yourself in a situation whereby you share a name with another person within the same vicinity? That still doesn't guarantee that when called out, you will not answer, right? This is because our name is the first gift you receive and the one you spend your life defining. A name could be compared to a suitcase. It may look small from the outside, but inside it may carry a generation of history, expectations, memories, and also dreams. I sure do know that one of my uncles, whose name will not be mentioned, very well slithers through the family with a boatload of deception and ill intentions. Anyway, sometimes without realizing it, we spend our lives unpacking what our names carry. I would like to believe the name was given to us, but its meaning is something we continue to create, because in the end, a name may introduce us to the world, but our actions teach the world how to remember it. Thank you.
Wow, a round of applause to Natasha. That was a nice break. I didn't feel like it was one. Wonderful. That was amazing. Are we defined by the names we are given, or do we charter our own path? Next, I'll be introducing, or rather calling upon Tiger, Evaluator Eric Wanjoy. Evaluator Eric Wanjoy, do you believe actions always speak louder than words? Why or why not? Do you believe actions always speak louder than words? Why or why not? Tiger Eric Wanjoy, the floor is yours.
Yes. I believe actions always speak louder than words. A lady can tell me that she loves me 100 times, but I need to see, I need to feel it. I also need those gifts. Empty words do not work for me. This evening, I'm honored, proud to be introducing yet another icebreaker from Tigress Toastmaster Caroline Njoguna, who joined Toastmasters just 1 month ago in July 2026, and she chose dynamic leadership pathway. And now she's delivering her first speech, level 1, project 1, titled, I Love Myself. Toastmaster Tigress Caroline is a mathematician. She's a revenue officer. And the objective of the speech tonight is to tell us about herself while maintaining the basic structure of her speech. I'll be looking out for an intro, for a body, and a conclusion. Let's see your emojis, loud of applause as we welcome Toastmaster Caroline, Tigress Caroline Njoguna. Over to you.
Imagine You are newly engaged. How wonderful does it feel when your fiancé calls you and tells you, I love you? My fellow Toastmasters and esteemed guests, talk of butterflies in your stomach. You smile a little bit bigger, and your heart beats just a little bit faster. When someone who loves you tells you those 3 words, you feel incredibly loved. But then I started asking myself a question. Why do I have to wait for someone else to tell me that I am loved? What if I could give myself that feeling? What if I could stand in front of a mirror, look directly into my eyes, calmly and deliberately say to the woman, or rather the tigress, looking back at me, I love you. The third part is, if you're not used to loving, validating, or giving yourself grace, those 3 words may feel strange. Actually, you may feel a sound inside shouting, liar, liar, that is a lie. And that is where my story begins. I am learning that my mind may understand something long before my body feels safe to believe it. So I repeat it. I love you. Again and again. Not because I'm trying to convince myself of something that is untrue, but because I'm learning to make self-love familiar. My name is Caroline. I am a mathematician, a revenue officer, a student, a mother, and a woman who has spent a good part of her life learning to better herself on each and everything that she puts herself on, her hands on. If I have a problem, I'm usually very vigilant when tackling it. I want to understand it, break it down, find the variables, and finally find a solution. Another thing I am learning is that an emotion is not an instruction. Presence of fear does not mean it has to take charge. So, I've started practicing something very simple. It involves 4 steps. Notice, normalize. Sorry, the second is name, normalize. And the 4th step is to take the next action. This is a practice that I have used every time I notice a very sudden emotional shift. Imagine you're about to do something very scary. The first step is notice. Notice the emotion. For me today here, giving the icebreaker, I notice fear. Fear has appeared. Kindly be vigilant. Do not identify fear with yourself. Do not say, I am a fearful person. The second step is name. Name the emotion, name the fear. Where does it feel in your body? My stomach feels tight. The third step is normalize it. Normalize the fear by giving a factual reason behind it. My nervous system is responding to something that feels unfamiliar. And the final step is to take the next action. What is the next faithful action? For me in this room, that action is very simple: to give the speech anyway. And that is one of the reasons why I joined Toastmasters. I want to be intentional with my communication. I want to learn to express my ideas clearly. I want to become comfortable being seen. And I want to improve my ability of connecting with people. So, yes, I love myself. And sometimes I am afraid. I am learning that those two things can exist at the same time. Thank you. Back to you, TMOD.
Wow, wow, wow. Round of applause to another amazing speech. Are these really icebreakers? Because I couldn't tell if I wasn't a member of Zumaridi. Toastmaster, or rather Tigress Caroline, has talked about a very good virtue of the tigers, being vigilant. Notice a trend, that pattern, and then pounce when the opportunity arises. And she has also told us that courage is indeed not the absence of fear. Next, I will be introducing evaluator Tigress Betty Wambia. Tigress Betty, have you ever underestimated someone who later proved themselves through action? Have you ever underestimated someone who later proved themselves through action? The stage is yours, Tigress Betty.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Yeah, I have underestimated someone, and not one, who later turned out to be different from what I was expecting. You don't judge a book by its cover, but most of the times we find ourselves judging people, maybe because of how they look, how they dress, and you tend to think that just because that person has underdressed according to your opinion, because that is your opinion, so you think that that person, maybe they are not even learned, or they are the lowest people in positions in your workplaces or elsewhere. But what we should embrace is just giving people the chance by studying them or interacting with them to know who they are, rather than judging them by what you can see. So today I'm privileged to be introducing Bernardine Cheryl Ankwasa, all the way from Kampala Sunrise Toastmasters Club. She's an IT specialist with a background in informational systems, and she's currently working in the aviation sector. She's passionate about writing and sharing impactful stories, and the reason as to why she joined Toastmasters is to add humor to her stories. She's doing her level 1 project 2 speech on writing a speech with purpose of pathway presentation mastery. Bernardine Cheryl Nkwasa, your name is a unique asset. Your name is a unique asset, Bernardine Cheryl Nkwasa. Take over.
How many times has your name been mentioned in a room when you're not there. Someone can unmute and share their experience. Anyone with an experience to share? I will give a personal story. There is a time I went to an office and I was there for something different. This time round, I answered questions over things that were not related. I was able to gain favor, and my name kept on this person's name, that the next promotion, my name was fronted. It came as a shock because I had been in the system for a while. Indeed, a good name is a key and can unlock prestigious opportunities. A good name can grant you access to people, places, and chances. Other people are willing to associate, collaborate, and recommend you if your name carries weight. Unlike money, you cannot print more of your reputation. A strong name is built gradually through action, choices, and consistency. When your name becomes a powerful asset, others see it as reliable, ethical, and credible. I will ask us to be vigilant and make an audit of our names today. I will give 3 points. TAR. T-A-R. T for trust. Are people able to trust you with a contract? A, access. Do doors open simply because it's you? R, referrals. Other people mention you in a room when you are absent. When you are building a name, ensure to keep your integrity. Keep your word even on the smallest commitment. How many times have you failed to keep your word? Always ensure to be consistent. Show up reliably in good and bad times. Treat all people with kindness. You're not sure who has your next chance or the next open door. Losing a name is very easy if you're someone who doesn't like cutting corners. But if your name is easily attached to a scandal and you like ghosting your creditors, this is a report of your own personal credibility. A name built over time can easily be spoiled in a split of a second, and the damages take long years to rebuild. A good name is better than riches. That is from Proverbs 22:1. Toastmasters and guests, I challenge us to do a name audit again. T, trust. A, access. R, referrals. How are people talking about you today? Is there someone who will be able to defend you, or no one wants to be part of that conversation? Your name is a unique asset and can be earned through integrity, impacting opportunities, and a continued legacy. Over to you, TMOD.
Wow, a round of applause to Speaker Bernardine for that amazing speech. The value of having a good name. And there are three things that it can grant you, that is trust, access, and referrals. A good name is indeed greater than riches. Next, I'll be calling upon Tigress Nancy Achieng to introduce our speaker. Tigress Nancy, as you introduce your speaker, kindly respond to this question. If your life were judged only by your actions, what will it say about you? If your life were judged only by your actions, what will it say about you? The floor is yours, Tigress Nancy.
Thank you, Mr. TMOD. Today I've had a round of table topic questions. And yeah, so if my life was to be, Yes,
if your life were judged only by your actions, what will it say about you?
If my life was to be judged only by my actions, what would it say about me? Now, like Tiger Toastmaster Eric Wanjohi, I put my money where my mouth is. So I believe if my life was to be judged by my actions, I would be exemplary. I'd like to think that I would be exemplary. Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in warmly welcoming Toastmaster Arthur Mijumbi. Now, Toastmaster Arthur Mijumbi is from Exceed Toastmaster. Exceed Toastmasters is from our neighboring country, Uganda. He is undertaking his persuasive influence pathway, currently in level 5, high performance leadership first speech. His speech is supposed to be 5 to 7 minutes long, and the purpose of this particular project is for him to apply his leadership and planning knowledge in developing a project, that is a plan, organize or guidance or a guidance committee, and implement this plan with the help of a team. So, ladies and gentlemen, I invite you to sit back, listen closely, be vigilant not to miss the experience that Toastmaster Arthur is about to give us or has prepared for us. Toastmaster Arthur Mijumba, a room of their own. A room of their own, Toastmaster Arthur Mijumba.
Are a distinguished Toastmaster. How is it that your own children can't even introduce themselves? Picture it. A living room, soft light, the smell of tea in the air, laughter settling in as guests arrive. And imagine calling your children over to greet the guests and watching them freeze. Eyes on the floor, their feet shuffling. The silence, the kind that makes a parent's face go hot. And it took a vigilant guest to notice it and ask that exact question. A friend of mine, a distinguished Toastmaster, told me this story with his voice low, almost ashamed, because he had fumbled a speech, because he had fumbled his own children. Fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests, this story stung me too. Listen to what we do here every single week. We take grown adults, we stand them in front of a room and teach them to find their voice. We build this whole craft on one belief: confident speakers are made, they're not born. So why do we let our own children sit and watch us practice it? Why do we assume they'll catch it by osmosis from the back row or even at home in silence? They will not. At least not by watching, but only by watching us do it and themselves doing it the way we have. Here's my vision for my project. In my club, every meeting, while parents run their Toastmasters agenda, picture children under 14 running their own meeting right alongside the parents, not packed in a corner with a tablet, or not babysat, but led. They're given a chair, a role, and a moment to stand and speak exactly as we are. Picture a 10-year-old giving a 30-second table topic. Brilliant answer, with their chin up, their voice steady. Or picture a 6-year-old practicing, please welcome our next speaker, loud enough that even at the back of the row, they could be heard. Picture a 13-year-old gently coaching a younger child through their first speech. And by the time these children, they're old enough to join us, they will already know how to do it. That is my vision. And tonight's theme is exactly the same. As we have said, the tiger does not announce its Tigritude. It simply pounces. I am not here just to announce this vision. We are actually already pouncing on it. And here's my plan. My team and I are already building a simple curriculum, sessions, evaluation forms, easy guides that any parent can easily pick and lead. No training needed. We aim to finish just this early September. We're already testing it in our Exceed program. And with real children, our own, in real meetings. And very soon, we'll be able to come back and report. This is not a daycare program. It's a leadership pipeline. Our children first, and then us too. Right now, some of the parents cannot attend a single meeting because they have nowhere to leave their children. And I find that this curriculum opens the door, not just for them, but for the rest of the guests who may be in similar position. And I'm not alone. I have my guidance committee that are holding me accountable. I have a team of 4, and we're already building our first steps. And I'm grateful to every one of them. Why am I sharing this with you? Because if you have ever watched a member's child go silent in a room that is built to teach people to speak, you already know why this matters. The question that my friend was asked still sits with me. And I want a future where no Toastmaster has to answer it alone or in silence. We will raise the next generation of confident speakers, one chair, one child, one meeting at a time, every child with a room of their own. This is my vision and plan that we finish developing a kids' curriculum where they'll be able to find their voice, find their character, find their purpose in their own room. Over to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you. Round of applause to Tiger Arthur. That was very relatable. I remember there's a time my father had called me when I was 8 years old to introduce myself before a guest. The guest was holding 5,000 Kenya shillings notes in his hand to give me once I managed to introduce myself. I froze and I was not able to get the 5,000 shillings. My father was very pissed. I cannot remember the number of times I was called useless on our way home. Now we're segueing to the next bit of this amazing Toastmaster meeting. I call it the most interesting bit of our Toastmaster meeting, the table topic session. Table topics master Tiger Davis Anunda. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Right. As I mentioned, the table topic session is a session where we practice the speeches. Speakers have between 1 and 2 minutes after you've thrown them a question to respond to it. And while responding, they can structure it like the regular speech where we have an introduction, body, and also a conclusion. Just to note, there is no right or wrong answer. And your response doesn't have to be a true story, it can be a fiction. And as I mentioned, it's between 1 to 2 minutes. So I will start with the question from here.
Table topics master. I think we lost your audio there. We've lost you. We've lost you.
Kristen, how about now, Toastmaster?
We can hear you perfectly. Proceed.
Yes?
Can hear you perfectly. Proceed. Proceed.
Okay. So I was calling on Christine Otieno to be our first speaker today. Christine, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Good. So the first question today is it better to pounce quickly on an opportunity or wait for the perfect moment? Is it better to pounce quickly on an opportunity or wait for the perfect moment?
In my opinion, and based on my lifestyle and how I make my own choices, I would first wait and see the opportunity unveil itself in order to see the risks involved, or if there's the reward that I was thinking about from that opportunity is worth it. Drawing from my personality, I'm the kind of a person who waits, and I would derive some lessons from TMOD's topic today, like a tiger. For me, I would not rush into something. And when I find myself having rushed into something, I find that I get to be hard on myself because I didn't consider the factors involved. So if you ask for my personal opinion, I would say that it is better to wait. However, I know of people who have different personalities than I, and they always prefer striking the iron when it's hot. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Christine. Let's give Christine a round of applause. I will go to our second speaker. Do we have Christine? Christine Oyugi. Christine Oyugi, can you hear me? I don't think there's Christine. Okay, can we try Eastman from Dar TMC?
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can hear you quite clearly.
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Table topic, could you kindly reframe the question again?
All right, I have not read it, so this is the question. Does every opportunity require an immediate pounce, or are some opportunities better left alone? Does every opportunity require an immediate pounce, or are some opportunities better left alone?
I agree that whether all the opportunities that come to you, that show up in front of you, they should be pounced out, just like a tiger in the jungle. It doesn't matter whether the tiger is hungry or the tiger is full. He will always pounce on its prey that shows up in front of him. And they say opportunity doesn't knock the door twice. Most of the times, if you leave that opportunity, rarely it might not come back to you, or it might not come back in the same way it comes to you. Therefore, it is much better to take the opportunity, and if you fail, you still learn from the failure. But if you pass, then you are in good condition. So I would ask everyone who is hunting in the jungle to always pounce on the opportunity that comes around, whether they are ready or not. Thank you, and back to you, Mr. Tiger.
Thank you. Thank you, Eastman. Let's give him a round of applause. Eastman, is that your name? Is Eastman your name?
Yes, it is my name.
All right. Because of time, I'll pick one last speaker. I'll go for, let's see. Naomi, we can try a guest, or Naomi. Naomi Amdani, can you unmute and try one table topics question? Okay, if Naomi cannot unmute, let's see. Any guest who can volunteer? Because they've not renamed themselves here. Any guest who can volunteer? Okay, let's try Osborne. Osborne, can you unmute? Osborne? All right. Osborne cannot unmute. Okay, we have Susan. Susan has volunteered. Thank you, Susan. Right, Susan, this is your question.
Okay.
Is it possible to be too cautious and miss the moment to pounce? Is it possible to be too cautious and miss the moment to pounce?
Thank you for your question. Our table topics, Master Davis. Yes, it is possible to be too cautious and miss the opportunity. The way I like to look at opportunities is to check, one, do they align with my values? Do they align with my goals? And that makes me not to be too cautious to then pounce on them. Like one of the table topics speakers said, her personality makes her a bit too cautious and she may miss some opportunities. However, the way I would look at the speed and even the caution, so to speak, of how I'd look at opportunities would be in how they align with my values and with my goals. Back to you, table topics, Master Davis. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan, for that response. And that brings us to the end of our table topic session. As you heard today, we've shared ideas, challenged ourselves with impromptu speeches. Let's remain vigilant for opportunities to speak, learn, and improve. Thank you, everyone, for those who participated. And back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you. A round of applause to the Tiger Davison on the table topics master and all the table topics speakers. That was well done. I'd like to call upon the timer, Tigress Ruth Ogama, to give us timing report for the speakers so that we see who was within time. That will advise us on how to carry our best speaker poll. Tigress Ruth.
Thank you. Thank you, TMOD. Starting with the table topic speeches, all the speakers were within the stipulated timeline. They had a maximum of 2 minutes to deliver their speeches. Starting with our first speaker, Christine Otieno, who did her speech in 1 minute and 11 seconds. The second speaker, Toastmaster Isman, who did his speech in 1 minute, 34 seconds. And the last table topic speaker, who was Susan, did hers in 1 minute, 4 seconds. Then to our prepared speeches, we had the 4 speakers, the first 2 being our icebreaker speakers. The first one being Natasha. For the icebreaker speeches, they had up to 6 minutes to deliver their speeches. Natasha did hers in 6 minutes, 34 seconds, followed by Caroline Juguna, who was also delivering an icebreaker speech. She did hers in 6 minutes, 18 seconds. Then for the other prepared speeches, we had Bernadine, who delivered her speech in 5 minutes, 25 seconds. So she was within the stipulated timeline, which was between 5 to 7 minutes. Then the last one was Arthur, who delivered his speech in 6 minutes and 11 seconds. So Bernadine and Arthur were in time. Natasha and Caroline went beyond their given times, but it was a slight variation of less than 30 seconds each. Thank you, and back to you, TMOD.
Thank you, Timer, for that succinct report. Just let me verify this. Natasha's time was? You're muted.
6 minutes and 30 seconds.
What about Caroline's?
6 minutes and 18 seconds.
Timer, they are within time. In Toastmaster, we allow plus 30 seconds. So they are all within time. So we'll be proceeding to vote for all the speakers as they all qualify for the better speaker poll. I'll be calling upon Tigress General Evaluator, Bide Munguti, our first inaugural president, to take over as we carry out the polls in the background. Tigress,
Thank you.
The floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. TMOD. Am I audible? Kindly confirm.
You are, proceed.
All right. Greetings. Mr. TMOD, fellow Toastmasters and guests, the purpose of the general evaluator is to evaluate everything that takes place throughout the evening. During the meeting, I will take note of what happens and doesn't happen, and I will evaluate each participant on the meeting program and look for good examples of preparation, organization, delivery, enthusiasm, observation, and performance of duties. So I'm basically like the prefect of this meeting, and what happened before, what happened during, and what will happen after. At the end of the meeting, I will give my report. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to give that introduction at the beginning of the meeting, but now I have just given it, and I am about to start the evaluation part of the meeting. I will begin with, we have already received the report from the timer. So we will go to the R counter. No, sorry. Sorry. Point of order. I am supposed to ask the evaluators to give their evaluations. I am so sorry. Evaluator 1, who was evaluating the first icebreaker on she talks about the names. An amazing speech. I think her name is Murugi, which means a cook. I think so. Yes, I was listening. Madam Sharon, you're the first evaluator.
Yes.
Kindly go ahead and give evaluation.
Thank you. Timer, I think I have 3 minutes, though I am unable. Can I start right now? Timer.
Yes, you can.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. I was very impressed by Natasha's speech. I was looking for 2 things from her icebreaker speech. Number 1, message clarity, and number 2, the speech structure. Now, I'm going to give my evaluation in 3 parts: what you excelled at, and number 2, the areas where you need improvement, and number 3, areas where you could challenge yourself if you want to, as you're going along this Toastmasters journey. So your speech structure was very exceptional. You gave us an introduction about yourself. Then you moved into the body where you gave anecdotes, you gave some rhetorical questions about name and identity, and then you gave us a strong conclusion with a quote to take away. The purpose of the speech, as for the icebreaker, is supposed to give an introduction, which you did. You let us know about who you are, how you were second born, what your name means, about meals, and with a history of where the naming comes from. When it comes to the clarity of the message, I will say it was also very exceptional. I was impressed in how you used stories, in how you expressed names about yourself, names about your siblings, names about your father, how your grandfather named. I think that really gave much volume to your message content. You also interested us. You engaged us a lot, I would say, because you made us become very engaged in your story. More so personally, I was impressed by how your grandfather was naming his children. It was a very good story. And such stories help us become interested in listening to you and listening to how the speech is going to conclude. Your time management was good because you did 6 minutes and 30 seconds, which is the allotted time for an icebreaker speech. Moving on to areas where you need some improvement, your vocal variety. During your speech, there were so many insights that you gave us about names. For example, when you asked us how many names have we mispronounced, how names affect our generation, how names affect our identity, I expected you to work around using tone, using volume, and pacing your speech so that we capture those insights. They were very, very strong insights, and I really struggled to put them down, but they were very strong. And I believe if you work on the vocal variety, in the essence that where you find the very good insights in your speech, you maybe raise your volume or change your tone so that we can lean in as the audience, because you're basically guiding us to the messages and what we should take away. So tone and speed should be utilized. I hope you will work on those in your future speeches. Then also, the third is you could challenge yourself by using speed so that you can give us insights about what we are supposed to take away from your speech, and also using pauses to let the audience engage with you. Overall, I would say your speech met the two assessments that I was going for, clarity and structure, but I also think that you could do better with vocal variety and pacing your speech. Thank you. Over to you, Timothy.
Thank you, Sharon. You're not taking it back to the team, Woody. You're taking it back to me.
General evaluator, yes. Sorry about that.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that very comprehensive evaluation. Our next evaluator is Mr. Eric Wanjohi, who is wearing two hats today. A Toastmaster wears many hats. Eric Wanjohi, evaluator number 2. He was evaluating Carol Njuguna. Over to you.
Toastmaster Tigress Caroline Njuguna. What a speech! That was not a nice break. It was far much better what we expected. That is contest material. Notice, name, normalize, and next action. What a way to deliver an icebreaker. I want to list very many things I picked, which are very good. Number one is your camera position. It was perfect. Clarity, excellent. But what was outstanding is pauses. The use of pauses and a very well-paced speed. You were able to follow through. You are also able to use gestures. You could say 3, 4. Then you also had very good transition. You said four ends, and you were able to follow through notice, name, normalize, next action. And you repeated that so that it is run. Then you had very good confidence on stage. And the last thing I picked, which was very good, is time management. You were able to finish within 6 minutes, 18 seconds, around half to the extra time of 30 seconds. That is very good. The objective was two. Number one, to let us know about yourself, and yes, we now know you. Number two, to maintain a structure or the basic structure of a speech. And this one you did very well. You are able to move from introduction to the body and to the conclusion. You started by saying, and that is where my story begins. That was a key. It was a cue for us to know that you are now moving from the intro to the body. That was very well done. Being the first pitch, you are not. There was no much expectations in terms of gestures, tone of variation. However, in your next projects, you'll find yourself being evaluated on gestures, on body language, and we are confident that you will become a great speaker. Back to you, General Evaluator. You may proceed to the next step. Back to you, GE.
It's always encouraging as a person who has just started to get an evaluation on what areas you perfected. Okay, and you have done that very well. Thank you very much, Eric. And we move on to the next evaluator. The next evaluator is Betty. Toastmaster Betty was evaluating Toastmaster Bernardine. Toastmaster Betty.
Good evening once again. Today I had the privilege of evaluating Toastmaster Bernardine. He was undertaking level 1 project 2 speech on a speech with purpose. To start with, he had a very good title. Her title was, Your Name is a Unique Asset. Your name is a unique asset. So I will evaluate her in 3 segments, what she excelled at. She had a good introduction. Toastmaster Bernardine, you began by asking a question. How many times has your name been mentioned in a room? And after asking the question, you pause to give people time to answer the question. That was great. You shared a personal story which helped us connect with your speech, and you incorporated gestures. For instance, when you were saying a split of a second, you did like this, a split of a second. That was great. You also incorporated other gestures. Toastmaster Bernardine, your speech had a great flow. I liked it. And the purpose of your speech was supposed to be a speech with purpose. Could be educational, humorous, inspirational, and yours was educational. You gave us a few points, like you told us, being consistent, showing up reliably, and treating people well. You also told us that by keeping a word on your smallest commitment, it helps preserve your name. You also introduced the acronym TAR, which helped us which helped us understand on how to audit our names, which represented trust, access, and referral. Areas you may want to work on the stage usage, I noticed that you stood at the same position throughout your speech. To make your speeches better, you can incorporate the triangular method, whereby you stand on your left when giving one part of a speech, on your right on the other part of your speech. You can also move a step behind. Yeah, if you incorporate that, it will help you on the stage management. Another thing, I noticed that at the beginning of your speech, there was an echo. I don't understand where it was coming from, but it made us strain when listening to your speech. But along the way, we could hear you clearly. So for your future speeches, you can join to the meeting earlier and test on your sound and camera and everything. All in all, you had a great speech. If you work on the stage usage and also preparing on the sound and camera before you log into your speeches, you will continue making a great speaker. And I challenge you, for your next speeches, you can try incorporate tonal variation. I recommend you to proceed to your next project. Thank you, and back to you, Jean.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Wambe. I can see you are very vigilant and you are watching to see which areas Toastmaster Bernardine should improve on. Our last evaluator is Madam Nancy Acheng. Toastmaster Nancy Acheng was evaluating Toastmaster Arthur Mijumbi. I hope I've pronounced that properly. Toastmaster Nancy, over to you.
Thank you, Madam G.E. Fellow Toastmasters and esteemed guests, Toastmaster author's message about his vision to create a room for our children, for the future generation, has certainly challenged each one of us to think about the future and the spaces we are creating for our children. And after today, I hope our clubs will have the young Toastmasters, junior Toastmasters. Toastmaster author, you excelled in a myriad of things, but allow me to share just three. Number one, audience engagement. This came in two forms. There was active and passive. The active engagement was through rhetorical questions, where you kept asking us questions that made us pause, made us rethink some of our own decisions. And then there was the passive engagement, that through the stories and the questions and the experiences you shared, which resonated with so many of us, the message was personal. So what Toastmaster author demonstrated was holistic engagement. You did not simply speak to us. You made us feel what you're trying to allow us feel, and you made us reflect. Secondly, natural delivery. What I'd like to term natural delivery. Nothing felt forced or over the top. The speech was relatable, it was conversational, and it was very easy to follow. From the introduction, where you established the why of the vision, and then you went ahead and gave us the reasons behind your vision. And then you finally gave us a rally call, and you allowed everything to flow naturally. The third thing that I liked about your speech was the expressiveness. Toastmasters authors' verbal and non-verbal cues were aligned with your message. Your gestures reinforced what you're saying. And your use of stage made us move along with you. You used the triangular method, and at some point, it felt like the story stepped out of just a common speech, and it came to life in front of our faces. And as they say, every good meal comes with a little salt. So allow me to give you just two recommendations to make the salt next time to be manageable enough. Number one, watch for the involuntary gestures. While you excelled in intentional gestures when you're expressing your messages, there are a few involuntary movements. And they occasionally competed for our attention when we were listening to you. So be intentional about identifying or reducing those movements so that the gesture stage works for your message. Secondly, and lastly, give your pauses more room to breathe. You asked us some very powerful rhetorical questions, but sometimes you moved before we had enough time to marinate. So Toastmaster author, 3 things you excelled in. Number 1, audience engagement. 2, natural delivery. 3, expressiveness. I recommend just 2 recommendations. If you put them together with control of involuntary gesture and embrace the power of the pause, I am confident that your next speech will be an even stronger one. Back to you, Toastmaster. Back to you, Madam GE.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Nancy, for that very, 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 very comprehensive evaluation. I will ask the timer to just give us a report on the timings of the evaluations that have just been given. Toastmaster Ruth, kindly give us an evaluation.
Thank you, Madam GE. Here is our report for our evaluators. Each of them had between 2 to 3 minutes to deliver their evaluations, starting with Toastmaster Sharon, who did her evaluation for 4 minutes, 05 seconds, followed by Toastmaster Eric, who was evaluating Caroline. He did his in 3 minutes, 13 seconds, then followed by Toastmaster Betty, who delivered her evaluation in 3 minutes, 38 seconds. Then lastly, we've had Toastmaster Nancy, who has done her evaluation in 3 minutes, 36 seconds. Thank you, and back to you, Madam G.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Ruth, for that very good job. Timing, being timer is not easy. I've been timer before. It is not an easy job. Sometimes people pick it thinking it's one of the easiest jobs. It is not. You have to be vigilant. You have to check your stopwatch. There's so many moving parts, and it's not difficult, but you have done a good job so far. So I need the TMOD, I need guidance at this point, because I can see 3 evaluators were over the time. Yes. We have Sharon, who did 4.05. We have Betty, who did 3.38, and Nancy, who did 3.36. Only Eric was within time. So kindly guide.
Only Eric was within time, so by virtue of that, we will not be having a poll. Eric Konjoi carries the day.
Thank you very much. All right. Thank you, Toastmaster of the day, our chair, Mr. Evans. Okay, so we move on to the other evaluations. So a grammarian and an accountant are also evaluating the speakers at the meeting. So they have to be vigilant, and they have to check if you're using filler words, if you're using repeated words for an accountant, and if you're using the word of the day, and if you're using proper Queen's English. So we are going to have the 2 reports. I will begin by calling Toastmaster. This name is so hard. Toastmaster Jordanos. Toastmaster Jordanos. She was the accountant. Kindly give us an evaluation.
Thank you.
Accountant evaluation.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Evaluator, General Evaluator. Yeah, you're correct. My name is Jordanos. Jordanos means in English Jordan. the biggest and the blessed river in the world. Yeah, this is Ethiopia. Jordanus, it is Ethiopian name actually, but for English it is Jordan. Thank you again. Today we have Vigilant speakers. Those speakers, they delivered their speech without filler words. They speak perfectly. The first speaker, Toastmaster Natasha, she speak with no filler words. I can say that. And the second speaker, Toastmaster Caroline, she speak with short break between her speech, but there is no other filler words. And the third speaker, Vigilant speaker, Bernardine. I'm sorry if I make a mistake when I speak their name. It is because of, I don't know how it's pronounced, but Caroline, she speak with, the third speaker, Bernardine, there was a little long pause at the beginning of her speech, and there also a little echo from her back that repeat her words. The last Toastmaster, Arthur, I can say that he speak with no filler words. It was amazing speech. So our today Vigilant speaker was amazing, and I would like to say congratulations. I have learned a lot. It is good experience for me. Thank you, and back to you, Graham.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Jordanus. Yay, I have gotten that one down. I struggle with ours as filler words. I really do, and that's one of the issues I need to deal with. So I'm glad that today probably I didn't have any. I didn't hear any report that I had any filler words, and I'm so happy. To our next evaluator, Toastmaster Daniel was evaluating our use of the English language and our use of the word of the day, vigilant. I have said it a couple of times, so I hope I make it to his report. Toastmaster Daniel, kindly give us your report.
Thank you very much, Madam G.E. On that note, our most vigilant speaker happens to be the general evaluator who used the word of the day 4 times, followed by a tie between the TMOD and Caroline. And then the others were the R counter, Arthur, Nancy, Sharon, the table topics master, and Ruth, who used the same word of the day once. We also learned new vocabulary. The speaker said scintillating, which means brilliant. Another said trajectory, which is a cool way to say path. On quotes, I noted a few. There was that one by a speaker who mentioned that an emotion is not an instruction. And then the other mentioned that a strong name is built gradually. And then the last quote I took note of was, confident speakers are made, not born. And for areas where we can improve, there was that speaker who mentioned that when doctors come, here they were referring to when the doctor came in to support with labor. Then the other was on, I get very worried when they were speaking in the past tense, and here they could have said, I got very worried. And lastly, there was a speaker who said, interprets to giraffe. Here they were saying, they were mentioning a name which means giraffe, Thank you, and over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Daniel. And now it's time for me to give my report on the general conduct of the meeting. Now, as I said earlier, I am basically the prefect of the meeting. So my job is to check three aspects. From where I sit, three aspects of the meeting. One, the planning, because you have to plan a meeting well for it to turn out well, okay? Two, the preliminaries. What do we do before the meeting starts? Just before the meeting starts, what do we do? And then the actual execution. So those three areas, and I will focus my evaluation on those three areas. So on planning, the planning was done well. I saw the poster circulated very, very early with the TMOD's picture there and the very, very interesting title. In fact, if anybody saw that title, I am sure they would have wanted to join in. And I'm sure some of us joined in the meeting because we were like, what is this topic all about? So that really, really captured our attention. The role takers recruitment was done early, and I did not see any last minute rush to try and get people to carry out the roles that had not been picked up the meeting. This is very, very good, in good time, so that the members then can go through the minutes, so that now when the presiding officer is asking for proposals and seconders of the meeting, then we have people who have actually read and understood the minutes. That is the planning part. On the second part, the preliminary, all role takers are supposed to log in at least 30 minutes to the meeting time, especially in the virtual environment. Why do we do this? We do this so that we can test our gadgets. We can test our speaking positions. We can test our microphones. We can test any tools that we are going to use during the meeting. It is very, very important that the meeting is started very early so that everybody gets to test their gadgets. And then, so today, unfortunately, I was not able to log in early because of work. But I hope that the meeting, as has been in the previous periods, the meeting was started early enough, though I think people did not test their gadgets because, okay. So on to the presiding officer. The presiding officer set the tone for the meeting. He was excited. He was happy. He made us just look forward to the meeting by just how he started the meeting, which is very, very important. The tone that is set at the beginning of the meeting is how the meeting ends up running. So presiding officer did a wonderful job at the beginning of the meeting. He also did the business part of the meeting. I had him ask for the proposals and the seconders of the meeting, of the minutes of the previous meeting. And then he welcomed guests. We are Africans. And one of the most important aspects in our lives is to acknowledge that we have guests, and then to welcome the guests so that they know that they are also a part of us. So presiding officer did that very, very well. And then also he allowed the SAA to explain the rules of the meetings so that we don't have confusion on how the meeting is supposed to run. So kudos to the presiding officer. Then we go to the TMOD. The TMOD picked a very, very interesting topic. I talked about this earlier, and the pull to come and listen to what this meeting is all about because of the topic was set by the poster. Okay, so that was very, very good. He explained the topic very well, and he actually made up a word. Tigritude, he made up a whole word. That's how creative he is. And I like that he made the meeting flow seamlessly. The transitions were seamless. There was no awkward pauses. It wasn't too fast, it wasn't too slow. So the transitions were done very well. The area of improvement that I would request him to look into is time management. We are running 15 minutes behind time. So when you see, because you're the MC and you set the tone for the pace, basically, of the meeting, just make sure that when you see that the time is running a little bit behind, you make it, you increase the pace, okay? And then you guide, say, the table topics master, you can only pick maybe 3 people. Just make those adjustments so that we adhere to the time that we have been given. Leaders, make sure that time management is done properly, okay? But TMOD has done an amazing job. The timer explained her role very well. The only issue that I have seen, and she has executed her role with perfection. The only area that I have seen is she was unable to change her background, and she was ending up changing herself. So if anyone logged in when the timer has put on the colors, they will wonder why there is a creature in our meeting. Because now she turned herself green, yellow, red. It was quite interesting, and I was laughing every time I see that. So next time, please log in early so that you can test these tools early enough. The grammarian also explained his role very well. The word of the day was in line with the topic, which is very good. He's been very vigilant to check whether we are using the word of the day. And I like that the word is not too difficult to pronounce. It's not a common word that we use every single day. So we were really challenged on using it during the meeting, which made the meeting very, very interesting. I would urge the members present in the meeting that if you have not been called by the grammarian, it means you have not spoken. So challenge yourself next time. Make sure you volunteer for the table topics. And that takes me to the next role taker. The table topics explained his role very well at the beginning. However, I would wish that the table topics master, just before you begin asking the questions, you explain the rules once again. And then start with a seasoned Toastmaster. So that, and then that seasoned Toastmaster does not have to make it to the polls. So what that seasoned Toastmaster does is just set an example, so that if there's a guest who would want to attempt a table topic, or maybe a Toastmaster who is not very familiar with how Toastmasters goes, how table topics goes, then at least they will have an idea of how the Toastmasters, the table topics, I don't know why I'm confusing, table topics is supposed to be run. And I would urge maybe Eric can organize for a tip session on table topics, because table topics is a very, very critical element of a Toastmasters meeting. It helps you speak when called upon in an impromptu manner. Okay. I think that is it for me. But I like the preparation. I like the organization. We are not doing very well on time, so we can improve on that. But I love the enthusiasm and how interesting this meeting has been. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster of the day.
A round of applause to Tigress G. Bidam Guti. That was wonderfully done. That is also our charter president. Thank you for those words of encouragement and the areas that we need to improve on. So we may not, sorry. May we live here not as people who speak of greatness, but as those who rise, act, and prove it. Tonight, we have two categories of Toastmasters. One, we have the roarers, people who say, I'll do my speech next month. I'll take the role next time. I really want to finish my pathways. One day I'll complete. And then we are the pouncers, the people who say, I volunteered, I delivered, I competed, I took the role, and I finished it. So I ask you tonight, which one are you? Are you the roarer or the pouncer? Tonight we came together as Toastmasters. We spoke, we listened, we evaluated, we encouraged, but most importantly, we acted. Because the tiger does not announce its tigritude, what does it do? It pounces. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, I urge you to go out there and do what? Pounce. The pleasure's all been mine. Your MC this evening. My name is Odima. I've had a good time. I hope you have too. Now I pass the baton back to the presiding officer, Toastmaster, Tiger Eric Wanjohi.
Let me see emojis, fireworks, unmute and say Igwe, the tiger himself. Let me see those fireworks. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you very much. They have been wonderful. We have been vigilant. We have learned. More than 36 members attended. Over 5 guests. More than 10 Toastmasters clubs represented. We have had a member from Ethiopia. I have seen 2 members from Dar. I have seen 3 clubs from Uganda represented. Bukoto, Bugolobi, Exceed, and Kampala Sunrise. In Kenya, we have had the Kericho Gold, Mombasa Executive Toastmasters Club. What a meeting. We have even had a DTM in the house. We have had 2 powerful icebreakers. What a meeting. That is what Toastmasters is all about. Conscious of time, I would like to let Toastmaster Evans Odima wear another hat, the hat of the substantive president, so that he can take us through the remaining parts and also host the meeting at the end. Toastmaster Evans Odima, Mr. President, I give you back the powers.
Thank you, presiding officer and GE. A round of applause to our presiding officer this evening. And just as Tigress Mbida said, we wear many hats in Toastmasters. Now again, I wear the hat of the president. I saw Natasha's hand up. Natasha, would like to share something?
No, apologies, President. That was an error.
Thank you all to the role takers, the speakers. We've even seen a tigress change to a chameleon, where some point she was green, blue, yellow. We've had so many speeches. I hope you've carried the lessons. They were not just speeches for entertainment, but we also had call to action at the end of each speech. We also had icebreakers at some point. I'm sure some of you did not realize that they were icebreakers. They were done to a level that will match a seasoned Toastmasters. That was well done. I'd also like now to give awards to best speaker, best topic speaker, and best evaluator. So the best speaker award goes to, and I've never seen this happen. So this is amazing. An icebreaker speaker, Natasha Njue, takes the best speaker award. This is amazing. How often do you see this happen? A round of applause to Natasha Njue for that amazing, amazing, amazing speech. The best table topic speaker goes to Christine Otieno, all the way from Kericho Gold Toastmaster. Round of applause to Christine Otieno. And the best evaluator award goes to our very own VPE Tiger, Eric Wanjoy. A round of applause to Eric Wanjoy. That was well done. It has been a pleasure being your MC. I hope you've had fun this evening. There's a form that I've shared in the chat. Kindly take a moment or two to fill the form before you leave. I'd like to give an opportunity to some of our guests to say a word or two before they leave. I know our time is spent. Apologies, but I know you've had so much fun you didn't even realize that the time went. So I'd like to give the opportunity to one of our role takers all the way from Ethiopia, Jordanos. Can you tell us about your club, how you found our meeting this evening?
Thank you, TMOD. Thank you, everyone, fellow Toastmaster and guests. This was my first time to attend your Toastmaster Club. Before I am Imperial Toastmaster Club member. So this is so great. I have seen that every individual who took roles, they are very vigilant to speak, to evaluate, and to speak quick. So this is great opportunity to attend, to take experience from you. For the future also, I hope I will join you and learn more from your rich experience. So I would like again to say thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for that. And I hope that you join even our next meeting and take our greetings back to Imperial Toastmaster members. We've been great partners. We've been supported severally by some of your members, including Toastmaster Yedi Dare. Thank you for having created the time. Joyce Chege. I see Joyce Chege in the house. Joyce Chege, would you like to share a word or two?
Sorry. Good evening. How are you?
Good evening.
I'm excited to be here, and I hope to continue being here. It's the first time. However, I joined in halfway because I saw it on Rose Odudo's page. I'd be interested to join. I've actually chatted her. I've been interested to join as a member. So I'll keep chatting her to see which way forward. Thank you so much. But the list I've had is impressive. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joyce, for those kind words of the PM and the lookout. That is a future Zumaridi member. Thank you, and we hope to see more of you even as we integrate you formally into our club. I also like to give a member of my Ugandan club, Daniel Opuch. Daniel Opuch, you kindly share a word or two.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I am not coming back for the word of the day. Today is my second meeting in Zumaridi, and I think I like my experience. We have built kind of a bond between our club, that is Bugolobi Toastmasters, and Zumaridi. We exchange role takers, we share experience, and this is something I encourage other clubs to borrow. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, Daniel. And we hope to continue the support and partnership even into the future. I see our iPad. I know you're in the background. iPad Rose Odundo.
Oh, good evening. I can never hide. I'll need to change my name next time. Thank you so much, Tigre who. Thank you really, really much. I've been very vigilant throughout the meeting. I have laughed. Thank God you couldn't see me laughing. Sorry, you can't see my face today, but I can assure you I've had an awesome meeting. And VP, who is this? VPPR, Vice President Public Relations. You're doing a great job. The poster was so good. I could not resist joining. Thank you so much, Zumaridi. I'm extremely proud of you. I feel so happy being your iPad, immediate past area director. Really, really proud. Even when I feel like I have something else to do, I will always squeeze time to be at this meeting. You have done extremely well. Please keep it up. Just to let you know, tomorrow I will be the Toastmaster of the day at WFP. It was formerly WFP World Food Program, but it's now called Beyond Borders. They meet at 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. I was requested today and I was telling them I wanted to rest, but it looks like once you're a Toastmaster, the resting is very difficult. So I've accepted to be the Toastmaster of the day. In case anyone can join, I will, once I get the link, I will put it on my status. Thank you very much to all who have come. Thank you, Mbide. You are awesome. You are a jewel. You can imagine those are supposed to be icebreakers, and I know that your hand was there in the background. Thank you once again to each and every one of you, President, Vice President Education, and the entire team. Please, Sophia, Nancy, the whole group, Catherine, please keep it up. Thank you, and back to you, Mr. President. We can't hear you, unmute.
Sorry. I'm saying, with that, we adjourn the meeting. Thank you for having made the time to be with us this evening. You can say a word or two, your buys, and last words as we close the meeting. I'll also be requesting Zumaridi members to remain behind, that we have to discuss some club business. Just a few minutes, and now it's a bit late. 3 minutes to discuss club business before we close. Thank you all, and do have a lovely night.